Hey everybody, welcome to Beer City Board Games. I am Clay, and I am here tonight with my wife Jen and my buddy Carl. Tonight we're going to be doing our Gen Con recap video and going through what we picked up at the convention. Um, yeah, so this year Carl's wife Christy actually joined us as well, and this was her first year, so we'll hear a little bit about how her first year at the con went as well.
Yeah, especially from the perspective of a person that went not for gaming, just to hang out.
Just to hang out, yeah. But that gives a good idea of like kind of what all there is to do around Indianapolis and everything as well. So, what?
Oh, nothing.
Oh. Are we live? Can anybody sound off in the chat? Make sure we are looking okay, hearing okay. Can everybody hear us? So, Gen Con. So we took off from Michigan on Wednesday. We drove down to Indianapolis, and we stayed at the Hyatt. Hey, Metal, how's it going? Hey, Oren. Oren, thanks so much. I appreciate that. Here, let me get this out of the way here. There, now I can see. Looking good? All right. 11 months in a row. Wow, Oren.
Superstar.
Thank you.
Hey.
Metal, how are you doing? You know, I was just thinking today I needed to get in touch with you. We haven't talked in a while. Got to lurk a few making dinner for you and Ben. Oh yeah? Where's Allie and Em? Also, is everybody feeling better now?
Oh no.
They've been pretty sick over there at the household, so I hope they're getting better. Oh, Maui's barking.
Of course. It's a perfect time to bark.
Wait until we started streaming. Now he wants to bark. All right. So yeah, we left Wednesday around like noonish.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Noon. And we didn't find out until that day that Christy was going to be joining us.
Yeah.
That was kind of a last minute deal. Just all of a sudden, oh, by the way, Christy's going too.
Yeah. We may have had the most filled vehicle we've had yet
Yes.
for a Gen Con trip. There wasn't room on the floor for one person's legs, so I was kind of curled up in a ball on a seat for
Yeah.
4.5 hours, but hey, it was worth it.
Yeah, Christy was literally in a ball.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, even the trip down to Origins a few months ago was a pretty cramped ride. So, you know, adding another person to the car, that was pushing it.
We're probably right at capacity. I think.
Yeah. Luckily, well, kind of luckily, I guess, we didn't sell as much on the Gen Con flea market on BGG this
Yeah.
time, so we didn't have quite as big a load of games that we were hauling down there. So
That is true.
that's something. Hey, middle-aged Dan, how you doing? Excited to see what you got at Gen Con. Yeah, we're gonna go through our recap of how the convention went, and then we'll do the haul at the end. We'll see if Carl remembers what he brought too. Metal says, doing good, hanging out with Braden. We were trying to work on the truck, but this rain won't let up. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard it was, Maui's been coming in smelling like wet dog all day.
And making others in the household smell like wet dog also.
Yeah. Yeah, luckily you guys can't smell us through the screen. All right, so here I've got a slideshow here. of some pictures that we took while we were down there. We'll pull that up, and then we'll kind of chat about. Okay. If you've ever been to the Indianapolis Convention Center, you will recognize that carpet. Let me see if I can. So there we are, just after getting to the Hyatt Regency. That's obviously me and Jen, and then that is Carl's wife, Christy. What time did we get into town? It was like 4 or 5-ish?
Yeah, five-ish.
5-ish?
Yeah.
Yeah, we usually make a dinner stop partway down. Usually stop and grab some McDonald's on the way. It is a bit of a long drive from here. Obviously, it didn't take us long to open up a few drinks.
Within 3 minutes, I would say, of getting in the hotel room.
I mean, right? It's convention time. That's when you park your car and you don't have to drive for 4 days and you don't have your kids around. You just get to relax.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's the beauty of this. So the Hyatt Regency is one of the hotels that is directly connected to the Indianapolis Convention Center. So we don't even have to go outside if we don't want to.
Yep.
Right? We can take the skywalks from our hotel to the convention center, or to any of the surrounding hotels. So that's really great. The first year that Carl and I went down, we stayed 15, 20 minutes out of town.
Yeah.
And that was okay. Saved us some money, obviously.
Yeah.
But like you were saying, the idea of just being able to park your car, not have to worry about driving in, finding parking once you get there. It's
you can truly treat it like a vacation.
It is. It's
Yeah.
more of a vacation that way. Yeah. Much more low stress when you don't have to worry about that kind of stuff.
It was fun when we checked in at the Hyatt, too, because the staff all were trying to be as geeky as they thought they could be. Like, it's funny what the idea of geeky is for some people. So it's like they were just picking at anything and everything that sounded a little bit like nerd and wearing it. So.
Yeah. That being said, I think that the Hyatt did probably have a lot more, did seem more kind of set up around gaming.
Yeah.
Or at least open to like gaming compared to some of the other hotels that we've stayed at.
Mm-hmm.
Last year we stayed at the JW Marriott, and that's a really nice hotel, and they have a great area for gaming in their lobby area. Like, they have tons of tables and everything. But at no point did it feel like once you were in the hotel, it didn't feel like you were. It just felt like you were in a hotel.
Yeah.
Whereas the JW, like, you were downstairs. Like, that first night we were down there, that whole lobby area was filled with
In the Hyatt.
with gamers. Yeah.
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 Yep. The weird thing with the JW, though, was Gen Con wasn't at the normal time last year. So I wonder if that
Also
played
true.
into it a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, maybe we could talk about that a little bit towards the end, too, kind of the differences. So last year was Jen's first year of going, and then this year was her second year, but it was a much different year. So we can talk about that
Very
a little
different.
bit, a little bit later, too. Okay. Here's our stop at Brothers. Brothers is a bar that's just a few blocks away from the Indianapolis Convention Center.
We're both wearing the same
Oh my
clothes we
gosh!
were at that night.
Oh, mine's
he's
gray.
gray. He's gray.
Mine's
Just
gray.
you, Carl.
That's blue.
That's blue. I'm wearing the exact same t-shirt.
Carl never changes.
I don't.
Hey, Selfish. How you doing? I was hoping you'd show up. I'm sure you're going to have some things to throw in, too. So Selfish Lock, this was his first year going to Gen Con as well. He did his own Gen Con recap stream a few nights back, which was really good. Thanks, Aaron. Brothers is a fun place to go when you first get into town because they, like, on weeknights they have, what is it, like $5 pitchers?
$5 pitchers of mixed drinks.
I mean, technically mini pitchers,
Yeah.
but they're still...
But for one person.
Yeah.
Lots of varieties.
Yeah. The service there has never been fantastic. But it's kind of one of those things that it's kind of become like our new Ram, right? The Ram used to be the place where we would always go when we got into town. Since that changed over to Goodwood, now we're more likely to go to Brothers that first night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cheap drinks and deep fried Oreos. What else?
Deep fried Oreos.
So good.
That's so. If you've followed the channel at all, you may have heard the phrase "for the table." That started last year at Gen Con when we went to Brothers and Carl ordered some deep fried Oreos for the table. And so that's kind of become a catchphrase for the channel. You guys are on my phone at our dinner with the kids. Hey, kids!
Hello, kids.
What's for dinner, Locke?
Wouldn't it be crazy if you said deep fried Oreos?
Yeah,
it would be crazy. Are you having deep fried Oreos for dinner? Alright. So after Brothers, we went back to the convention center. So this was the will call area. Not super busy. However, the line for the wellness check was pretty long when we got there.
And we got there about...
It was 11:30 at night.
It was pretty
That's
late.
How busy it was.
Yeah. And we were really hoping that if we got there a little bit later, that it was gonna kind of settle down a bit and we wouldn't have too much trouble getting right in. I will say that even though the line was long, the process was pretty quick.
Yeah, very quick.
They were very efficient with that line,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
So this year you were required to show proof of vaccination, and so you went through this line. You'd show your proof of vaccination and your ID, and they would give you a little yellow wristband that you would wear for the entirety of the convention. Not a big deal. They did the same thing at Origins. Origins, we went a little bit late, and there was nobody in line. That being said, I was a little bit encouraged to see the number of people in line for this because it meant that it was going to be a much more back to normal convention.
Yeah.
I made an African stew with chicken.
Oh.
Kids want deep fried Oreos though.
So do I.
Yes. Yes, we will have to find it. The line went fast for you guys too. Yeah. I seem to remember you guys saying, and our buddy Glenn was there with his family, and he said that they got through it pretty quick also.
Mm-hmm.
So that was good. At least if you have to go through that process, it was pretty painless, right? In and out. Right. Oh, this is us. So this is us Thursday morning.
Yep.
Right? So we woke up Thursday morning, got ready and went down and got a cup of coffee from one of the food court areas down there. And then just kind of sat out and people watched while we waited for the convention hall to open, like the main vendor hall. I can't even imagine what deep fried Oreos would taste like.
Oh my gosh, so good!
Like heaven.
Yeah, like heaven. Wait, there was one person at our table though that did not like them. I thought.
Christy.
Was it Christy?
Christy did not like them.
Christy.
Yeah, Christy. I don't know how. They're amazing.
Looks like a lot of people in line. There were significantly more people this year than there were last year. So this is the area just outside of the vendor hall as they were getting ready to open up the doors. And that stretches both the direction that we're looking and back behind us to kind of the main doors coming into the convention center.
And to the right. Way to the right, also underneath the bridge on right there.
Yeah, that's kind of an overhang area there. So that hallway does go back probably another 30 feet or so. It's pretty packed. This was a big change from last year too, because last year we were able to just kind of go down. Like, we didn't get down into the crowd this year and go in with the big rush of people kind of getting in to get the new hot games. We hung back and just kind of watched everybody else go in. Last year there were so few people that we just walked right in.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So that was kind of interesting. That was pretty different. Let's see. I hope I got some pictures of the. So we do have some pictures of the inside of the convention hall. I mean, there's just so many booths in the vendor hall. That was another thing from last year. Last year, there was a lot of open space in the vendor hall.
And they shut down like corners and put false walls in to make it feel a bit more crowded because they had so few vendors in there as well last year.
Yeah.
For this year, it was back to being full.
Mm-hmm.
Which was great.
What did you think about the crowd level this year between last year and this year?
I hated it.
Yeah.
But I hated it, but that won't deter me from going back, that type of thing, you know?
Yeah.
I liked last year because it just felt like it was crowded, but I thought it seemed crowded. This year I was like, I can't move without bumping into somebody. I'm having to walk really slow behind people, try to get around them. Now I lost the people I'm with because I'm walking too fast. They can't get through people. But I'll get used to it.
Yeah, I think I realized like 2 Gen Cons ago, if you're with more than one other person, you're going to get lost.
Yeah.
You're going to get...
So it's kind of like, I never hesitate to try to stay with the group anymore. Like, we'd all go into the hall together, and within probably 10 minutes, you guys are gone, I'm doing my own thing. And then we meet up again in a few hours when we're going to grab lunch or whatever. Mm-hmm. Just because, you know, a lot of things you're doing in the hall are, you know, taking a couple of minute glances at games, maybe chatting with somebody. So there's no point in having 4 or 5 of you all huddled around when,
right.
You know, then it's just going to be more difficult to look at something. So, yeah, it's definitely easier if you're not trying to keep track of too many other people. That's
right.
For sure.
Middle-aged Dan said, I heard someone cough, come back with the convention flu. No.
Nope. We avoided.
Not at all.
Everyone was vaxxed and masked at the convention.
Double boosted also.
So, yeah. This no con crud for me this year.
Yeah. Me neither, or Christy. None of us had any sickness. Obviously, there was, you know, I've seen online, there was definitely some COVID outbreaks from it. Mm-hmm. Nothing crazy, like I haven't heard like thousands of people or anything like that, but there's definitely pockets of people that were exposed and had issues, but...
Yeah, much less than there would have been had they not taken some precautions.
Right. It was interesting, too, because everyone in the con had to wear masks and be vaccinated, but you didn't elsewhere in Indy, so you could just walk out of the convention center and go anywhere else, and you did not have to wear a mask or be vaccinated or anything.
And that was exactly what happened. As soon as we left the building... masks off.
Yep.
All the restaurants, every other place, other than the BGG Hot Games room.
Right. Yeah.
But that was technically part of the convention as well.
Right. So. Right. Spraying your monitor with Lysol just in case. I mean, do what you got to do. It was fun to demo a few games, but it was hot in there. Yes.
Very hot.
Yeah, with that many people and being so crowded. Yeah, it catches up to you.
We usually have to hop in for a little bit and then hop back out, get a breather, and like 30, 40 minutes we're hopping in and out just to...
Yep. Yeah, especially if you're buying anything as well and you're carrying those games around. I mean, even a bag with 2 games in it gets heavy after a while, you know, lugging it around.
And then trying to move it around people too, so you're lifting it up all weird and...
Yeah. Yeah, and there are some folks that think it's a good idea to bring in their gigantic bags
Or a
wagon.
or their wagons.
Don't bring wagons.
Please don't. Please don't. Like stroller, okay, that's fine. You have a kid, and you want to bring him to the convention. I can live with that. But if
Right.
you're bringing a wagon to put your games in,
Right? Yeah, not for kids. For
I'm gonna
your
sit in
games.
your wagon. You can pull me around.
I thought about it a few times.
Ironically, the hot games room was cold. Yeah.
Not the first time we went. It wasn't cold the first time, but just with you guys, it was cold.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, they had that set super low.
I was loving it.
I was, and I normally don't get cold. I tend to run pretty hot blooded, but I was freezing my butt off.
Anti-wagon, love it.
Anti-wagon. Yep. Or if you're gonna cosplay, don't come as one of those big inflatable suits.
Right.
Oh yeah, there were a few of those too.
Or the huge wings out while you're trying to walk through the convention rows.
Yeah.
And you're just hitting people in the face with your wings.
Yeah.
Like,
It looks cool.
It looks so cool.
great. Please do it, but do it outside of the vendor hall, because trying to get around and that was, yeah. But that was a cool costume.
It was
though.
very
It was
cool,
very
yeah.
impressive.
I really wanted to touch the wings.
Let's see. Oh, here is this is a picture from our buddy Glenn. He was playing Pathfinder with his family. So the main vendor hall is mostly board game stuff, and there are some RPG things kind of sprinkled throughout. A big part of the second floor of the convention center, and I think a lot of the JW Marriott is all like RPG Dungeons and Dragons stuff.
Yeah, that Pathfinder room was insane. There was
It's huge.
Huge
50,
screens
60
up.
tables, screens all around,
Yeah.
a giant stage at one end for registration and signing it. It was, insane.
I love the costume. Now get out.
Pretty much.
Not get out,
Just stand over there.
Just
go in the hallway
Just-
where
Yeah.
there's room.
Outside of the vendor hall in the convention center, they have a designated space for people who want to do cosplay and have their photos taken. And it's out of everybody's way. If you want to wear your nice big fancy wings that you made, maybe that's a good place to go stand and then take them off before you go into the hall. So much room in there. Oh, I can't remember, Locke. Did you guys do any RPGs while you were there? I can't recall. I know you had the Dragonlance event on Thursday morning. But I couldn't remember if you did any actual RPGs while you're there. But yeah, Pathfinder, Dungeons & Dragons, Starfinder. They had a big room for Warhammer. I want to say they had like a bunch of like Warhammer Kill Team stuff going on there. You dang kids, get off my convention.
He does sound like an old man.
I know. I realize that. Yeah, like I don't feel good about saying what I'm about to say. But get out. Didn't Spider Monkey say she plays Pathfinder? I think she does. Yeah. I have never tried Pathfinder. I've read some of the Pathfinder books, but never actually tried the game. Oh, here
So,
are...
first though,
Oh.
we met up with Lack and Lady Lack prior to roaming the convention,
Yes,
right? And
yes.
roamed the convention with them a little bit, and then we all met up for lunch.
Yeah, we met up with them prior to them opening the doors to the convention center, and they watched everybody kind of flood in with us and got to see that whole experience. And then it was kind of nice because, we went in with them and got to see kind of their reaction to the expanse of that vendor hall and what that looks like. So that was kind of fun getting to walk around with some people who hadn't been before. It's always kind of fun to see everybody's reaction for the first time. I haven't played it. Did play a lot of 3.5 D&D, which is when and why it originated. Right, yeah. Yeah, it's kind of a D&D spin-off of 3.5. So then we went out to lunch at Kilroy's. Kilroy's?
Yeah.
Did I have that right? Okay. Which is a place a couple blocks away from the convention center, and they have these really good breadsticks. They are stuffed with mozzarella and pepperoni, and they're so good.
They're
so good.
amazing.
They're so good.
Like I'll often order extra just to bring back and have in the room for later.
Yeah.
Like, they're really good.
Yeah. They make for a really good convention snack. Yeah. Yeah, Kilroy's was really good. That chili was really good also.
Mhm.
I want those now. Yeah. Yeah. Is it a chain that's up here? Anywhere.
Don't believe so.
First day at the Hot Games room. We only got one game in.
4-hour block.
Yep.
One game played.
Why was that? Was it the learning?
It was because this game took forever to get. It was the learning.
It was, yeah. It was a little bit of a teach, and then the play, and yeah. I mean, it shouldn't have taken the full 4
Right.
hours, but
Like
it did, and it was fine.
The first 2 rounds took forever, and then our last 2 rounds were like, oh, okay, we get it. Now
Actually,
we're
if
just
I'm not
flying
mistaken, we
through.
showed up late.
We did.
Did we?
We
A
were
little
a little
late.
late.
Yeah.
Like
We
15
did
minutes
show up
late.
a little bit
We
late.
probably spent 10 minutes picking
Picking
a
out the
game.
game.
So it was really like 3.5 hours. And it was probably a 45-minute
Learn.
set it up, teach it from the rule book, which, is one of the downsides of something like that. I don't know about you guys, but we generally don't play a game straight from the rule book just because of the extra learning time. We usually try to prepare a little bit ahead of time to make the teach, hit on the high points and then jump into playing.
Right.
But yeah, it was a long game,
But
but a really good game.
It was really good.
by the way, the game we played
Oh,
was
yeah.
Stroganoff. Probably should mention that. To teach their own.
Oh.
Yeah, Stroganoff. There we go. You were late because we were eating breadsticks. Also, Jen forgot her license. Yeah. So apparently they card at Kilroy's downtown.
Except for they didn't that day because
Except
I
for they
didn't need
didn't
my license
actually
to get
card. So she started walking back, had to come back to get the... Are you proud of that lock? You proud of that fail noise? No, Stroganoff, I thought that was a pretty good game,
I
though.
did too, after we got it.
I liked it. And the funny thing is, like, we played that... so we were getting down to the very end of our block, and I think we played that last round in, like, 15 minutes or something
cruised
like
right
that.
through
We
it.
played it in, like, 15 minutes and quick put it away.
Yeah, that was an Andreas Stedding game.
Yeah.
His newest one, right? He did Hansa Teutonica is what he's best known for. Kind of a classic Euro game that recently had a big box version released. I thought I really enjoyed the game. Before the stream started, I was saying I stopped by our local game store and they had it back in stock, and I was very tempted to pick it up, but
Yeah. I
But
would
did not yet.
I would consider it, I think.
Yet.
yet. I'm sure it'll end up in my collection at some point. I tend to like to wait a little bit on a lot of games to see if, eventually a lot of these games that are hot and new start hitting the daily deal
Yeah.
thing after
Yep.
a few months, and then, if you can save $20 on a $60 game, I'll take it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the fact that it was Andreas Stedding was kind of what put this one on my radar to begin with. And it was good, but the rules or the learning it from the rule book was a little bit clunky.
Yeah. And again, we're just not used to that really as
Right,
well.
right. Yeah, we usually get a little bit of time ahead of time to kind of study up, watch videos, read the rules. So yeah, we are a little bit out of practice with that kind of learning.
We gameplay divas.
That's how I would describe us. Yes. This is
I know those people.
yeah. This is our buddy Glenn and his son Howard. They sent us a picture. They had the Bigfoot monster truck in the exhibit, or not the exhibit hall. The what's the name of it? What do they call that other hall?
It's like the demo.
Demo hall.
Yeah.
Demo hall. Yeah.
It's another equally giant hall that's set up with tons of tables that when you sign up to learn a game and play a game, most of the time you go there and you can play have someone teach you the full game and play it for 2 to 3 hours, however long the game is expected to take. So it's a really neat area.
So now that's where you played Mosaic, right?
Yes, yep. I did play Mosaic, which is a Kickstarter that's just now being delivered to people.
Glenn Drover?
Glenn Drover.
Right.
Yep. And he was there actually at the demo tables walking around and helping answer questions. So that was really neat. And I'll say right now, Mosaic was a great Civilization game. Maybe one of the best Civilization games I've ever played.
Wow.
At least, well, maybe not best. I'll say my favorite Civ game. It's up there with... I'm struggling to think of other Civ games that I liked better.
I have yet to find... I love the idea of Civ games. I have yet to find one that I really like. Definitely not Tapestry.
Tapestry isn't a Civ game. It's a Civ-adjacent game, and it's its own thing. And I like it a lot. I actually believe I saw Rado today proclaim Tapestry as his favorite Stonemaier game.
Wow.
Now that he's played it with both expansions. But, hey, that's Rado for you.
Yeah, good for him.
I've also played it with both expansions, and it is not my favorite Stonemaier, but I do like it. But
yeah. Man, going up against like Viticulture and
Scythe.
Scythe.
I don't know.
Well, he probably still hasn't played Scythe though.
That's true, he is not. Yeah.
By the way, we're going to play Sequoia tonight in a few minutes.
Nice.
Also, maybe Happy City once the youngest goes to bed. Very cool. Yeah, I think our buddy Glenn picked up Sequoia last year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it sounded like he liked that better than... So we had picked up a game called Mountain Goats instead. I think he said he liked Sequoia a little bit better. So curious to hear what you think of that one.
Before you switch, just this demo hall, just to give you an idea of like the size of it, this huge truck was in there. I was in the demo hall multiple times. I never even saw it.
And we never saw it.
Yeah.
I never saw it.
I didn't notice it until the last day that it was kind of in the corner, not all the way in the corner, but it was like behind like where the train gamers were and some of the terrain games were set up. But it's still like a 15-foot tall monster truck
Never saw it.
that just didn't stick out.
Yes.
Just
Crazy.
The fact that a monster truck is probably one of the less noticeable things in that convention center ought to tell you something about Gen Con. Good work deciphering. Yeah, no problem. Demo hall is giant. You never saw it either. Yeah, and that's where we met you guys that first day, was in that demo hall. It was in that hall. Never saw it.
And the reason it was there is there's a Bigfoot themed game called Roll and something, but
Smash.
Roll and Smash, yeah. But the theme of
like
the
that.
interesting part of the game is it's dice rolling, but the dice are giant rubber wheels that you roll, and then wherever it lands, it's got dice faces on the different spots of the wheel. So it's interesting. It's got a molded plastic board, so it's like when you roll it rolls over terrain and bumps and things like that. But it's kind of interesting.
I remember seeing it at Origins.
Yeah.
I did not see it
They had it set up by the monster.
by the monster
Didn't
truck.
see it.
Yeah.
If I would have seen the monster truck, they need to work on their marketing.
If only they would make themselves more noticeable.
You played and learned the legendary in there. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Locke. I want to. We need to get together and play legendary at some point. I really like legendary. I've just never pulled the trigger on anything more than we have the Buffy the Vampire Slayer version, but
Some might say the best one. Some might say that.
some might say that.
I'm not going to comment on that,
No, yeah.
that claim, but hey, Locke, I know you obtained your copy of Legendary at the convention. Have you had a chance to play it since you've gotten home as well?
Also, do you plan on going down the expansion route for legendary?
Oh. I think there's 14 or 15 expansions for that game now.
Because that's a deep hole to dig yourself into. Buffy.
I mean, a lot of people here know my opinions on
Yeah.
Buffy.
A lot of people don't agree with his opinion.
Moving on.
Okay.
Here's our Thursday night. We went and had dinner at the Slippery Noodle, which throughout the course of the night got called many different things.
Many different things.
Some of them not quite so family friendly. This is another place that's kind of gotten to be a fun place to go while we're down there. They had live music. It was in... I don't know, it's hard to describe this room. It almost is like eating in like a solarium or something.
Yeah,
Like it's got like glass walls and ceiling.
yeah.
Like it's weird. It's kind of an odd little offshoot of this restaurant, but
But that restaurant has like 5 different wings that are all different feeling. It's so weird. Once you get in the back, there's like...
and it's hard to navigate your way through it.
Yeah.
It's almost a maze. But it's... The Slippery Noodle, they have their history on their menu. It's been there a long time. Lots of celebrities would go there. It's an Indianapolis staple.
Mm-hmm.
And they actually do a really good job there of catering for Gen Con. They host a lot
Yeah.
of events. Like, I know the... a new designer pitch day or pitch event was held there one of the nights, where people with design ideas or prototypes could have a 7-minute spiel with different game designers, kind of like a speed dating situation.
Yeah.
They've hosted, I don't know if they did it this year, but they've hosted Diana Jones Awards.
I think
there.
Diana Jones was there this
Yeah.
year.
Because it was
So-
the private party. Remember we tried
Oh,
to go?
that's right.
We tried to go
That's
one
right.
night
We tried
and it shut
getting
down
in
for a
and
private
couldn't
party.
get in.
We thought it was that. So.
Thanks, Brian. This was our first year not going to the Diana Jones Award since we've gone to Gen Con that they've had it. Last year they didn't have it, so we
Right.
didn't go. But
Right.
usually our buddy Brian gets us free tickets, but he didn't realize we were interested in it. So
Wah, wah.
yeah. Until afterwards, and we're like, "Man, we missed the Diana Jones." He's like, "Oh, I had tickets. You could have had." Oh, man.
Dang it!
But,
Still, haven't played it yet. Been dealing with health stuff. May get some expansions after we play this a fair amount. There's plenty. I mean, there's plenty in the base box to keep you busy for a while. Hey, Whipsy, how you doing? Yeah, you probably don't need a ton of expansions or anything, but there are a lot if you really want to go down that rabbit hole. I would say that's definitely the benefit of getting the Marvel version over any of the other kind of offshoot versions like the Buffy or 007, Firefly.
name them all.
Oh, jeez. I don't think
There's Alien.
Alien, Predator,
The Matrix is coming.
007, Buffy, Big Trouble in Little China?
Yeah. Oh, I think you're. Yeah, we're quizzing Clay on if he could name all the legendary versions.
Been reading up on the expansions a bit. Like which ones are the best. Now you had quite a few of them,
I had a
right?
few of them. Yeah, I believe Dark City it was considered the best because it was the most expansive as in adding more variety. But there's a lot of the smaller expansions that'll just, give you what you're most interested in. Like I had the Guardians of the Galaxy one.
I was gonna say it's kind of like
And-
just pick your favorite characters and buy that pack, right?
Yeah.
What game were we talking about? Yeah, Marvel Legendary. Yep. I had picked up a copy of Marvel Legendary off of the Origins flea market, and then met up with Selfish Lock at Gen Con to deliver it. So he got a chance to. So he picked up the game there from me, and then learned it through a demo. Dark City's been on the top of many of the lists.
Yeah, Dark City's one of the bigger expansions, so it really just adds a ton of variety. I mean, I honestly think if you had a Dark City, you'd have more variety than you would need.
Have you played Marvel Champions? Got it for a friend for his birthday. Pretty fun. Carl has.
Yeah,
I
just
have
one
not.
just one time I played it. I thought it was great, and it is a game that reminded me quite a bit of Aeon's End in the way the gameplay made me feel. The co-op nature and kind of the boss battling aspect. And Aeon's End is one of my favorite games of all time, and a game that I've been sucked into spending way too much money on. And Marvel Champions has an even more frequent money spend. So after my first play, I said, I really like this, but I can't get it because, as Clay will tell you, I am a sucker for being a completionist.
Carl's a bit of a junkie.
Yeah, and if I get into a game, I'm going to try to get everything for it, and I don't want to do that with Marvel Champions because there's too much of it.
So now I had the opportunity. I had a trade offer. Somebody offered to trade. I don't even remember what they originally traded, but they said, "Oh, I also have Marvel Champions. If you'd be interested in that instead." And I messaged them back and said, I'm not really interested in the original game that you offered, but I would take Marvel Legendary if you were interested in giving that one up. And then they messaged me back and said, I just sold it. I was like, dang it.
I would say up until a couple of weeks ago, Marvel Champions was probably my favorite Marvel game I had played.
Oh, wow.
Oh. Whoa.
What's taking over the number one spot,
Not
Carl?
yet.
I don't know.
We're getting there. Whipsy says that's a good comparison to Aeon's End. Yeah. It's... If I get the opportunity, I would like to play it or pick it up. But it's one of those that
It's good.
I'm real hesitant to fall down that. I'm surprised that I was able to kind of rein myself in a bit when I picked up the Arkham Horror, the card game, because that's another one. Tons of expansion stuff out for that. So I could see falling into that with Marvel Champions. So every year for Gen Con, a local indie brewery called Sun King will release a special beer. This year was Dragon's Delight. We get if you buy a 4-pack, you can also buy a cooler to go along with it.
No, you get it for free, Tuna.
Yeah, the cooler comes with it.
Free cooler.
A handy little Gen Con cooler from Sun King Brewing.
Holds
6 beers solidly.
Yeah. Yep.
6 cans.
I like this.
Could be soda.
So they did the same thing last year. I like this year's cooler better.
It's
I
square.
also like this year's beer better.
I also like this year's beer better.
Yes.
Yes. It was delightful.
Free.
Yeah, nothing at Gen Con is free. Or very few things at Gen Con are free. I'll say that.
Got lots of stickers or pins.
I didn't
free.
get...
Oh, that's true.
Maybe not.
I got a couple of pins, I think. Not that many stickers, though, surprisingly.
Oh gosh, here's the drunk picture.
Oh. One of.
Guess who's drunk in this picture?
Oh, that's a fun game.
There are at least 3 of them. So this was late night back at the Hyatt in the lobby playing No Thanks.
The lobby was crazy busy. Just
it was
so many people
packed.
out. And this was like, I don't know, midnight, 12:30 or something like that. And it was just packed. Just people everywhere playing games, drinking. Oh, what the heck?
Carl's giving Jen his COVID.
Not used to the left-hand
I
side.
know. I should have moved it.
It's all right.
My answer is yes. Yeah, it was full. Like all the tables, all the couches down there were packed.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people playing games, a lot of party games, especially that first night. It seemed like, but just a lot of people down there, kind of excited to finally be back and in a bigger convention capacity. I think.
For sure.
There's so many people that go there and they only see these friends like once a year at this event. So you hear it all around you like, oh, hey,
Yeah.
since last year, it's been the first time we've seen each other and let's get together and play
Well,
a
I
game.
mean, the Rogers is
Yeah.
Glenn. That's about the only time I see him throughout the year is there. Every once in a while, he might make a trip up here, but that's about the only time we see them, and it's kind of funny too, because like. I'll see people every once in a while that I recognize from the first Gen Con that I went to.
Mm-hmm. Well, and it was fitting that our first official game of this year's Gen Con was No Thanks, which we played for the first time at our very first Gen Con.
That's true.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, that was one of the first games we played at our first Gen Con. Was No Thanks.
Glenn taught it to us. I hated it with a passion.
I don't get this game. It's stupid. It makes no sense.
Which tends to happen to me in small card games. It takes me about 4 plays before I understand them. I can play a 3-hour Euro and pick it up no problem. But you give me a card game, odds are I'm going to get frustrated within the first few plays until it clicks. And now No Thanks is one if I was to rank my favorites, just small card games, it'd be near the top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's brilliant.
Yep. Let's see. Not Wednesday. Friday morning. Jen and I got up and got ready. We went down to. So this was last year. They did not have Lucas Oil Stadium open. So this was kind of the year of bringing that back. So that was cool. So I wanted to make sure that we got a chance to get down there so she could see what that looked like. That whole floor behind us there, all set up with tables for playing games. They've got miniatures games, RPGs, all kinds of stuff going on down there. That's also usually where they have the Gen Con library. So last year we did the Gen Con library because they did not have the Board Game Geek Hot Games room. I'm glad that the Hot Games room is back.
Yeah. Gen Con Library. It's a lot of quantity, not a lot of quality.
Yeah, they have a lot of stuff. I would just say it's not a very well curated library.
Do you want to play 30 copies of Catan? Gen Con Library's got you covered.
Yeah, they could probably. I mean, maybe a portion of that is just trying to make sure that they have enough games on hand for the amount of people that are going to be there, but then get more copies of the good games that everybody wants to play, or some of the more popular games that everybody wants to play, and not just hang on to some really outdated games that folks really aren't that interested in playing.
Yeah. But for anyone who goes to Gen Con in the future, invest some time in the BGG, the Board Game Geek Hot Games room.
Yes.
Because that is where whatever the most popular games of the year or of the convention are, they're going to be there, and you're going to be able to get a chance to try them out for an extended period of time. You can book it for 2-hour blocks, and it runs, I think, from 9 a.m. till 11 p.m., if I'm not mistaken.
I think so, yeah.
Yep.
And it's kind of the place to go for playing games at Gen Con, I think.
Yeah, especially if you want to try and get some
For
of
new
like
games.
the new games played. Yeah. Yeah. That's a big sign that they have set up in front of the Lucas Oil Stadium too. It's kind of cool so they have the floor there at the stadium, and they have actually a spot where you can stand on the field. So this is where the Indianapolis Colts play football. So Jen got to
I'm
got to
pretty,
stand on
I'm
the
pretty
field.
much a professional football player at this point. Pretty much.
This was Lego Robo Rally. So you can see our friend Glenn, his son Howard, is down at the very end there. He played some Lego Robo Rally. So the way this works is I believe they downloaded an app on their phone.
Yeah.
And then you would program a robot, and then it would send that to a computer, and that would send it out to all of the different robots, and you would actually program these robots to do their movements, and it would know where they were on the board. It was really interesting to watch. I didn't quite pick up on the rules just by watching it.
I watched it for about 30 minutes.
Yeah.
I had no idea what was going on. But it looked like everyone was having fun.
Yeah, it looked neat. I wanted to just mess with it, but I had no idea what the rules were by the time I left.
Basically, the robots are trying to get to certain spaces on the board. They're trying to get to 1, then 2, then 3, then 4. And
Yeah.
so they're trying to program their robots to get to these spots, but everyone's programming them at the same time. So often robots are colliding and smashing into each other and pushing each other off the board because you can't predict what the other robots are going to do. So it's pretty entertaining to watch.
Yeah, and you could if they ended up in front of you, you could shoot them or
They're taking
yeah. So, I think there were like five objective markers on like the corners and in the middle, and you had to try and get from your starting spot to each of the 5 objectives in order, right?
Mm-hmm.
That part I grasped. The movement and how the movement worked, no clue. Let's see. Here's a photo of Card Hala. So they have a bunch of commons from collectible card games that they bring in, and folks will build these gigantic structures out of collectible cards. And then on Saturday night, they will destroy Card Hala, and basically everybody just starts chucking coins, trying to knock down all of these buildings that people have made, and then they collect up all the coins and send it to a. I don't know if it's a different charity each year or if they do the same
sure.
one.
I thought I heard a different charity each year,
If
but
it's
I
a
don't
different
know
one,
for sure.
yeah, I can't recall.
It's pretty impressive, though.
It's
Very
really cool to
cool.
see how big some of those. I don't know if you guys can see very well, but that one in the back there, that structure had to have been at least 12, 13 foot tall.
Mm-hmm.
It was
And
massive.
It's kind of set up. It's an area blocked off right in the front of the convention too, or when you walk in the front door of the convention building, it's there. And so it's kind of the first thing you see, and anyone can go in there and do it throughout the week.
Mhm.
It's neat, and they make some good money because we went one year, I think,
Yes.
to watch it, and there's a lot of people throwing change, but then people will just throw cash too as a
Right,
because
yeah,
it's
yeah,
all
yeah.
for charity.
Yeah.
And I think they do like an auction, a live auction for the person to throw the first
coin.
to
Yeah.
try to knock down the tallest structure or whatever. So yeah, it's a cool thing. There's a lot of charity events that go on. At Gen
There
Con,
are,
and it's really neat.
and that's kind of neat to see. One of the slides we'll see later is the balloon structure that they do every year too. But we'll show you that when we get to it. But they do tend to raise a lot for charities. This was Friday night at Goodwood.
More food.
More food.
So much food.
So many tater tots.
So many tater tots.
Oh, that is true.
We had. Apparently, we all chose to get tater tots, and we got some tater tots for the table. And that was a lot.
It was
Yeah.
a lot.
We
that
brought
was a
tater
lot
tots home
of
on
ta-
Sunday
Yeah.
and had tater tots still for dinner on Sunday night. So, yeah.
So the Goodwood used to be the Ram, which is a bar that's like maybe a block. It's basically on the other end of Georgia Street from the convention center. Always a real popular place to go during Gen Con. And after COVID, they sold it to Goodwood Brewing. Still looks fairly similar. I would say the food is pretty comparable. It doesn't feel much different,
Yeah.
at least in my experience.
Yeah. It's fine.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that you just kind of do because that's what you do at Gen Con. We talked earlier about our buddy Brian that was mentioning the tickets to the Diana Jones Awards. That's him on the other side of the table from us. He met up with us for dinner, and then we tried walking down to Brothers to get some $5 pitchers and deep fried Oreos, but they did not have those deals going on. I think we ended up going to the Punch Bowl Social that night instead.
Yes.
We did.
Which was that was a really cool place. I had never been there. Apparently, that's a chain. I think they have one like in Detroit or something.
That's
also,
what Glenn was saying. It was a chain. Yeah.
But this huge bar with a bunch of
Massive.
different types of rooms in it. Like they had one that was completely built up like a library right when you first walked in from like the mall side, and they had like giant Jenga and I think like chess and all this kind of stuff set up there. Sequoia is getting cutthroat over here. Oh no! For who? Who's winning? And then they had like skee ball and cornhole and bowling.
Yeah, they had multiple like 2-lane bowling alleys scattered throughout as well. So
Yeah,
yeah, it was a cool place.
it was huge. It was much larger than what I thought it was when we first walked in. Like it looked like just a small bar area, and then I walked back to the very back to get to the restrooms, and went, this thing just keeps going on and on. That was a cool place.
Yeah.
I liked it.
As a shameless plug for our buddy Brian there, he is the owner of Grand Con, the board gaming convention here in Grand Rapids, that is taking place Labor Day weekend.
Yes.
So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Labor Day weekend at DeVos Place.
In Grand Rapids?
In Grand Rapids. It is a board game players convention.
Yes.
So if you like to play games, go to Grand Con. You would play more games at Grand Con in one day than you would an entire Gen Con.
Absolutely.
It is focused on playing, and you know how we were talking smack about Gen Con's gaming library? We would not say that about Grand Con's gaming library, because
Grand
Brian
Con
has an amazing library.
Has one of the better curated convention libraries that I've been to.
It's amazing, and he's got even new hot games. He was at Gen Con, he added new games to the library. So if you are at all interested in playing some games,
Come
Labor
play
Day
games with
weekend.
us.
Yeah, we'll be there. We'll be there. And it's very family friendly as well.
Yeah. Yep. Our
Our
girls
girls are
will.
gonna go on
Our
Sunday.
girls.
My kids
usually
will be
go.
there as well. Yeah.
Yep.
And it's going to be a good time.
One of the more affordable conventions too when
Yeah.
you compare like badge prices.
Mhm.
So again, this one's going to be a little bit smaller than in years past, but I mean, I think once you got a chance to check out the Grand Con library, you would probably keep coming back.
Yep. It's impressive.
Yes. And then after Punch Bowl Social, we were back in the Hyatt lobby area. We had to push some tables together, get a little creative. But we played Long Shot, the dice game, which is based on the old Long Shot board game. This one was much quicker. It's fairly light, but it's a lot of fun.
A lot of
A
fun.
lot of fun.
This is one you had brought from home.
Yep.
First time I had played it was here. The next day, I went out and bought a copy myself as well because it was great.
And we ended up playing it twice that night.
Yeah, yeah.
And
back
then
to
I
back.
think twice on Saturday night also.
Yeah, it's one of those games that once you know how to play it, I mean, it's not a tough teach. It's a 5-minute teach.
Mhm.
After you played it one time, you can play that game in 30 minutes or less. And it's a lot of fun. It's basically a roll and write. It is a roll and write. It's dice and you're writing stuff.
Roll and write and race.
Roll and write race. Which
Rolling race.
every time I say I'm done with roll and writes, I don't ever need to play another one. A game like Long Shot comes out and I'm like, oh, this is really good.
I don't get excited about roll and rights anymore. Just because there were so many of them for a while there. There was like a stretch of just so many of them coming out.
Stronghold.
A little bit. But every once in a while I'll see one that's kind of different in the way that it does the whole roll and write thing. And I think this is one of those that mixing it with that racing aspect was pretty fun. We had played the original Long Shot on Tabletopia during COVID.
Yeah, it's long out of print for a physical version.
Yeah, I had started to I had tried to look for it a little bit after playing it because I thought it was a good game, but owning this, I don't think I don't think I need to track it down anymore.
Yeah. And this is literally a game you could play with anybody.
Yep.
You could teach an 8-year-old. You could
Yep.
teach a 70-year-old. Not complicated, but really fun.
It says we're about to battle for all the tied areas. Keep us up to date, Locke. We got to know what happens. Yeah, Brian joined us for a game, and then Missy Schmalls joined us for a game. She's a fellow West Michigander, so she met up with us for a game down there as well. And then we ran into Chris and Wendy Yee.
Yep.
From the Dice Tower after their Dice Tower live show, which we had gone to earlier that day.
I forgot to put that in there.
Yeah, they were walking through and said hi. Oh, that was also the night that some random guy ran up to me calling me a nerd.
What are you doing, nerd?
Play board games, nerd!
It was the funniest thing. Like,
It was very weird.
It was very random.
Skipped through this entire lobby of people
Just to
at a
him.
at a gaming convention and came up to me to yell at me about being a nerd.
And that's not the first time I've been around you
the first
and
time.
someone randomly comes up to you to say something sarcastic and no one knows what it's about.
Yeah,
It's happened at like a concert before too.
yeah. I don't know.
I remember one time you were wearing like a hat. It had like Michigan on it and some guy's like, "Where are you from?"
Oh yeah, yeah. That's right. That was at the Dave Matthews concert. Yeah. Where are you from? Ha.
Clay is a magnet for sarcastic drunk people, apparently.
Verbal abuse, I guess. I don't know. I wonder if like maybe he thought I was somebody, and then
realized
realized after he had screamed in my face that I wasn't the guy that he thought I was.
I have done that.
It's
Not screaming in someone's face, but
Yeah.
say something stupid and then go, "I thought you were someone I
you're,
knew."
you're not who I thought you were. Yeah, I've been there too. Yeah. I didn't do it and yell in someone's face that they were a nerd.
I mean, like,
though.
he was, like, this close.
He was-
It was, like, right in his face.
Yeah,
It was so funny.
that was an interesting experience.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess we're skipping forward a little bit here in time. This was back in the Board Game Geek Hot Games room. We played a game of Wonderland's War. This was it was Jen and I, and then Carl, and Selfish Lock, and Lady Lock. We all played. Carl ended up jumping out partway through the game because our other friends had shown up, you ended up playing Creature Comforts.
Creature Comforts,
Which
Wonderland's
was-
Ward.
Also a good game from what I hear.
Yep, just bought it today. So yeah,
Oh, you bought it today?
yeah,
Did Glenn also buy it today?
I bought it a while ago.
He,
Oh.
yeah,
He bought it right after the con. I bought it today because I found a used copy.
Nice.
So yeah, but yeah, great game. But Wonderland's War, yeah,
Wonderland's War was really good. In really good production.
Yeah.
gorgeous game.
Gorgeous.
Really,
So
the
much fun to play.
artwork was really cool. Yeah, the way that the game played was really neat too.
It was Battle Quacks of Quedlinburg.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Drawing chips out of a bag
To fight.
to fight and kind of build up your strength, but then you could slot some of those in to get like better
Upgrades,
upgrades down the road. But you had to be careful about which ones you were slotting in because now I'm taking that out of my bag. I don't have that strength anymore. It was really interesting. I liked that quite a bit. We put that one on order with our local game store. So much fun. Yeah, Locke, we had so much fun playing that game with you guys.
Yeah.
It was a
It's
blast.
Another one of those instances of learning the game from the rule book right on site. Took
Yep.
a little while to get it going, but
Yep.
once everyone got the flow of it, like it just made sense and it was a really fun game. And
Yeah.
yeah, like I said, I bailed after one round, but I felt like I got a good feel for the game.
Yeah.
And it's
Well,
a good one.
we were saying that maybe that's the way to approach the hot games room, like in
Yeah.
future years. Is
Play enough to understand. and
don't
get a
try
feel.
to
Yeah.
don't try to get the whole game in, but if you want to try and get the feel for more games and figure out which ones you want to pick up, maybe just play a round or two of the game, and you'll kind of know whether it's one for you or not.
Yeah.
And then that way you can try out more of them.
Yeah, this is one I really enjoyed too, and I was super excited when I found out you were ordering it. So I get to play it again in the future, and can play it.
Yeah, get
Play
a
a full
get a
game.
full
Yeah,
game in.
yeah.
And then there's Creature Comforts.
Yeah, Creature Comforts is one Glenn, his wife Corey, and myself played. We also didn't get to finish a full game, but a very cute game with super cute meeples and a really interesting mechanism of dice placement. But you have to place your workers before the dice are rolled, and each spot requires certain dice. So it's a little bit of gambling and then trying to mitigate those losses. It was really, really cute, really clever. It has great artwork. I remember when it first came out, I thought, this looks like a kid's game. It's
Yeah.
probably
That's what I
very
assumed.
simple.
Yeah, that's what I assumed when I first saw it.
Yeah, and it was not complex. It's definitely a family weight game, but there was enough decision making that it's not a kid's game. It's a family weight game with some cool things I've never seen before in a game. So it's good. It's good. We'll play
Yeah.
it sometime.
Yeah.
I was
I
gonna
would
say
play it, yeah.
I can't wait to try
Since
this
as of
out.
4 hours ago, I have a copy.
Sunday,
Yeah.
Christy finally got around to getting
Wait,
herself
we
a
didn't
badge.
finish what we did on Saturday.
What did we do? On
Oh
Saturday?
We
no!
went to Punch Bowl Social again.
Oh yeah,
For dinner
For
this time.
dinner.
For dinner.
with the
And
Rogers.
we got every couple got chicken and waffles, and then the sriracha or some type of big fries. Like fries.
They have like specialty fry dishes there. I got the sriracha fries, which was sriracha peanuts and like it had a very like Asian fusion kind of taste to it. They were so good. Just the right amount of spicy. Christy got like the rosemary
Parmesan.
Yes,
rosemary
Parmesan.
parmesan, and those were also really good.
Those were good too.
A little bit lighter. Probably could have gone with those ones and been alright, but I'm not disappointed.
So if you haven't figured it out, half of Gen Con is going to restaurants and eating good food and getting decent drinks.
Yes.
Pretty
The
Yeah,
other
that-
half is playing games and
That is a large
Checking
part of
stuff.
what we. I mean,
the vendor hall closes at like 5
6.
or 6, depending on the day or whatever.
somehow we had
so-
it in our heads it was 5 o'clock every day.
Yeah.
It was actually 6.
Well,
yeah.
So we missed all this.
missed all this time, but But then after that, it's like, okay, now what do we do? Hop around, play games, and that's every night what you do.
Yep.
Yep.
Great time.
Yeah. Usually somebody will pack a smaller game in a backpack or something that you can fit in your pocket. And
Yep.
we'll take that to a restaurant or bar, and we'll just kind of sit there and socialize and play games.
Mm-hmm.
But also eat and drink.
But then we went back to the Crown Plaza after that and played a few more games.
Oh, right.
That's right. Yeah.
Yep.
Gotta write this stuff down because
forgot.
we can't
I'm glad
remember.
you remember because I did not. Yeah, we played another couple games of Long Shot.
Yep.
Yep.
And then we played Cat in the Box.
Just potentially the hottest game of the convention.
Yeah.
It seems that way.
I feel like everyone's saying that is the one.
It seems that way. Cat in the Box is a trick taking game, but it's interesting in that
Quantum trick taking.
What?
it's trick taking, but you don't know what the suit of your card is until you play it, which is a really interesting concept, and it sounds like something that wouldn't work, but it
work.
kind of works.
It works.
And it's interesting. I can't wait to try it again.
Yeah.
So throwback to earlier when I said when we play card games, they don't make sense to me, and I'm like, what the heck is going on? Cat in the Box is an example of that. We played it. I couldn't grasp the concept, but I could recognize it was brilliant. I should have picked up a copy for myself, but I didn't. And
Now you, from way back, were not a big fan of trick-taking games in general.
not at all. I hated trick-taking games until The Crew.
Yeah.
And then that converted me to appreciating trick-taking games. And even since then, I really haven't played many trick-taking games. I never played euchre. Euchre's stupid.
We don't. That is not the feelings of the channel.
Yeah. The opinions of Carl Russell do not reflect the opinions of
I'm just saying.
Beer City
I'm not
Board
a
Games.
Like
But
Fox in the Forest. You played Fox in the Forest,
I have Fox in the Forest.
but you don't super love it.
If anyone wants to buy Fox in the Forest, it is for sale on the Grand Con flea market right now.
I didn't know you were putting it up on there.
Yes.
Oh.
$8 you can have Fox in the Forest Duet.
Becky, 15. Bree and Dan, 14. And the little scored 13. Wow,
Nice.
that's really
Close
close.
game.
Yeah.
Way to go,
Wow.
Becky.
Good job,
Becky. So, but yes, Cat in the Box, probably the hottest game of the convention.
Yes.
Really good. Just I don't get it yet. I will get
I
it.
think
Okay.
it
I
will
will get
be
it.
one of those ones,
Yeah.
though, that once you've played it 2 or 3 times, it's going to be one of those
It'll
kind
click
of games
and then
that
it'll
Carl
be.
likes.
Yeah, I can tell. I know I will like it.
Yeah,
I just don't like it yet
right.
because I am not smart when it comes to that type of game.
She says thanks. Also, she usually wins.
I was gonna say we talked about that.
Yeah. Jen kicked our butt in both the games we played last night. We played Brian Boru, High King of Ireland.
Oh, great game.
Really good.
That's really
Speaking
good.
of trick taking,
Yeah.
that was a trick taking game also.
That
but
was,
it was
a trick taking.
Yeah.
It was It was a trick taking game where you draft your hand of cards, and then use the tricks
To
in
fight.
an area control
Area
game.
control.
It was very
I
good.
should have hated that game after the first play,
Really weird,
but I didn't. That one I liked after the first play.
Yeah,
but,
that was
yeah.
really good.
but it was really good.
Yeah. Brian Boru, that is. Check it out.
Yes, yeah, really good. All right, back to Sunday. Christy decided to pick up a 1-day badge.
She was fighting it. She was fighting.
Yeah,
Gen
so
Con.
a little bit of
Finally, she got on
background.
board.
We talked about this at the beginning. My wife decided, officially the morning we left on Wednesday at noon, that she was going to come with us. She's never gone to Gen Con before. Told her all the stories. We've all told her all the stories. How much fun it is, blah, blah, blah. She has no interest in going to a big convention, so she just came down with us and was going to work remotely. She didn't take any time off work, so She was going to work late on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday to get her hours in just from the hotel room, and then hang out with us after the convention closed, which we did. And then when we got to Sunday, we happened to look just while we were walking around. Her and I went for a walk in the morning just to kind of explore a little bit of the downtown area. And I looked at the Sunday morning email that Gen Con sent out, and it said, hey, Sunday passes are only $15. So she was like, oh, for $15, I'll get a pass and I'll go check it out. So we got her a pass and went into the hall for an hour and a half, basically. But it was cool. She got to experience, the whole... She had only ever been to a convention of Grand Con before, which, again, like we talked about, is a great convention for playing games, but it doesn't have...
It's not the spectacle
at all.
That Gen Con
so she got to see what we've been going to for all these years, and had a really, really fun time checking it out.
Yeah.
So this is her in the vendor hall, finally, after being there for 4 days.
Here's Carl checking out the Great Western Trail Argentina, right?
Yes, it is, yes. So, if anyone has played Great Western Trail, it's one of the greatest board games of all time. And they're coming out with a new version of it called Great Western Trail Argentina, which they were showing off there. It's going to be released at Essen in November. And it looks very cool, and I'm sure it's going to take money from me.
What are some of the changes between Great Western Trail and Argentina?
Oh, man, you make me...
Do you remember?
Recap the
oh, you don't have to recap.
10-minute spiel.
Elevator pitch.
So the trains no longer dictate who you can deliver to. There are no cities to deliver to. You're delivering to ports, ships at ports, which will eventually ship to other locations at certain points.
Okay.
But pushing the train allows you to create shortcuts to shorten your loop. So as you're building the game up, you're adding buildings which you have to stop at. And in this version, there's different branches. So you go a certain route, and then you could jump off here, or here, or here, or finish the route. The further your train is, the further you can jump on the train to start back over and speed the game up. It's and it adds like a new resource. It maintains the core function of the game, which is deck building cards,
kind of a
being
very
efficient,
slow deck builder rondel kind of
but
thing.
adds. It's probably like 70% Great Western Trail and 30% like new stuff. Did it need to be in a completely different game? I don't know. Maybe not. But I'm excited.
Well, I'm interested anyway.
If you haven't played Great Western Trail, play it.
Yes.
It's
Great Western
It's
Trail,
great.
Trail is brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, agreed. And there is the giant balloon structure. Hey, Titan! Thanks for the raid.
Hello.
How was your stream, Titan? Hey, Parallel.
Did you tell Parallel what we were going to do with this game?
Oh, Parallel. No, I did not tell Parallel what we were going to do with your game. Parallel, so I had taken your the card game that you sent me. We took it down to Indianapolis with us for Gen Con. And I was going to, I never ended up getting around to it, but I was going to set it up on the Hot Games table in the BGG Hot Games room and take a picture of it.
That'd be really cool.
And then send that to you. Never got around to it. But yeah, that was one of the things that we had talked about doing. How's it going? Been a while. Yeah, it has. So we had Gen Con a couple weekends ago. We had a big camping trip with a bunch of families last weekend. So it's been a hectic few weeks.
Summer, really.
The whole summer has been crazy.
Looked like a busy convention. Yeah. So we were talking about that a little bit earlier on. Definitely felt more like pre-pandemic Gen Con. aside from the masks and stuff like that, it was much more grand than it was in 2021. Stream was short. Internet issues plus heat just ruined my stream mood. Oh no. That stinks. Started a new deck builder though. Griftlands. Good so far. I'll have to check that out. Is that on Steam? I'll have to look into that. I just downloaded the Hero Realms app off of Steam yesterday, I think it was. Can't wait to check that one out. Steam. Yeah, cool. Yeah, so I think... I don't remember what the numbers were from 2021. Do you remember?
That's what I was just looking
Is that what you were looking for?
So 2021 had around 35,000 people. 2022 had between 50 and 55,000.
Okay.
So, but pre-pandemic, it was around 70,000.
Right.
So, not quite there, but back to the feeling of a large crowd.
Yeah. It was. I mean, it was massive before the pandemic break. This year, at least, felt similar. Last year felt much different.
Yeah.
Last year they didn't have Lucas Oil. They had they had a large portion of the vendor hall shut down. They didn't have the consignment room or the auctions or anything like that.
No hot games room.
Yeah. So it definitely felt different. You've been missed. Glad you guys are having a good time with all your trips. Yeah. Thanks, Titan. Hoping to kind of start working my way into streaming more frequently again. Obviously, that's the plan. Things should start evening out, but I feel like I've been saying that for like the past couple of months now.
Well, I think we talked about it. It's a lot easier to do things for us in like the fall, winter months. I feel like end of school through summer is just chaos.
Yes.
Which you'd think it wouldn't be because the kids aren't in school. They're not doing all their school stuff, but we're still always
But that
running
tends to
around.
be when we have a lot of things going on.
Yep.
We plan a lot of stuff over the summer, and yeah. So yeah, this final picture here. This was the balloon sculpture that they did, and then on Sunday they, just like they do with Card Hala, they auction off to slay the dragon.
Yeah.
And you go up there with like a big pincushion club and pop the balloons.
And yeah, all for charity. I think
All for charity again.
my wife and I watched it this year. I don't know if you guys were
We
there.
We
tried
started
to,
to, but
they
they
kept-
have such a long build
They're
up to
drawing it
that.
out forever.
I think it was around $800 to $1,000 is what they ended up getting for the auction to officially slay the dragon, and then yeah, all the kids. It's a lot of kids around there, and then all the kids get little pins that they can then go up and pop balloons and continue. So the first person gets to cut the head off and hold it ahead,
Yeah.
and then the rest of them get to then finish slaying it. So it's pretty funny.
Yeah.
And it's an amazing sculpture.
It looks
This was
amazing.
This was one of the more impressive ones that I've seen there. I think this was the most detailed of the balloon sculptures that I've seen.
Yeah.
I hear you on scheduling. With my promotions back then, my schedule went to the dumps. Yeah, I just got my demotion finally, so schedule should be settling down for you soon. I mean, at least there's a bright side. Getting second wave of ether fields. Oh, I couldn't see that. I thought it said Etherlands. I don't know that. Ether fields on Monday. I've heard a lot of really good things about that one. But it seems kind of divisive. Some people really love it. Some people really don't.
Yeah.
I'll be curious to hear what you think of it. I will tell you that I I'm really interested in a lot of Mind Clash games.
Is Aetherfield's Mind Clash?
I'm pretty sure.
Or was it Awaken Realms?
Oh, is it Awaken Realms?
I don't know.
Ooh, maybe it is Awaken
Titan
Realms.
will let us know.
Tell you, is Aetherfield's Awaken Realms or is it Mind Clash? Thought this was a table fixture. Then I saw the table next to it. Oh no, this is a gigantic balloon structure.
Yeah, 2-story tall.
Yeah.
And that wall of rocks behind it went up to a 3rd story.
It's Awaken Realms. Okay, my mistake. Well, I think the statement still stands because I'm always interested in Awaken Realms stuff too.
Yeah. Yep, Awaken Realms has got some really good games and production is amazing.
Yes.
And the fact that they're redoing Castles of Burgundy makes me love them even more.
Yeah, that puts them pretty high on my list. You haven't played it yet either, Parallel? Yeah, I'm curious to hear what you think, Titan. I'd be interested to see what you think of it. All right, let me get switched back over. All right, we're gonna take a brief intermission here, and then we'll be back to do the haul portion. Alright, we're back. Hey, Kylaris. Just got home from a pre-back-to-school date with M. Had some froyo, did some school clothes shopping, and shared some clucks and fries for dinner at Red Robin.
Chicken strips?
What does that mean?
I don't know what that is.
I was reading
Like,
ducks.
like
so.
you just sat at the table and clucked?
A coo-loo-loo.
Okay.
I'm guessing it's chicken fingers.
Okay.
Makes sense.
That's
I don't know.
less strange. That's what they call their chicken strips.
Okay,
Hey!
Carl's professional.
I know my Red Robin.
Yeah. Carl knows his beige food. All right. So, haul time. We're going to start off with some of the stuff that we picked up that was like, that we had picked up used.
What just
My
happened?
camera just shut off. Oh no.
Oh, that's weird.
Uh-oh. What do you do?
I don't know.
Can you guys still hear us?
Oh no, this is so weird. Oh.
Here,
it is.
yes. Freeze frame.
All
Yeah.
right. Cool. Cool.
Sound is good? Okay. I may have to switch out the camera. This might be a power issue.
Turn it off and turn it on again.
It's turning off on its own.
It's a good thing I look cool on that freeze frame.
Oh no.
Sound is good. Frozen view. Okay.
It's like the worst time to have the frozen view when we're trying to do the haul.
Yeah. Nobody was interested in that, right?
Well, we could talk about, while he's working on that, one of the other things that we didn't mention is the consignment room opened up this year.
Carl, are you looking at my notes? I literally had just wrote it down.
No, Clay mentioned it earlier.
Yeah.
But so Gen Con has a giant used room for used games that people can bring and drop off games that they want to sell. Usually they'll have them, there's a standardized form where you put on, hey, if you buy this game on Thursday, it costs this much money. But if it lasts till Friday, it's a little bit less. And if it lasts till Saturday, it's less. So you've got that incentive to see what's in there, and do you want to wait, push your luck, no thanks style, and see if it's still there come Saturday so you can get a good deal? So it's really cool. There's 1,000 games, at least thousands?
Yeah.
There's a lot.
There's a lot.
There's a lot of stuff. Some good stuff, some garbage, some total garbage, but some good stuff. And it's probably the place that has consistently the longest lines at the entire convention. Anytime you would try to go in there, you're going to wait in line for a bit. 10 minutes minimum, probably.
Yeah.
If you wanted to get in there Saturday morning, the day that everything was the cheapest, that line went down the hallway, so it was probably... And I bet they lined up 2 hours before it opened.
Oh yeah, there was always people lined up before, but definitely Saturday.
But that's where you can get some deals. I personally didn't buy anything in the consignment room this year. In previous years I had, but I know part of the haul that they'll cover is some of the games that they found.
I will say I had a thought about the consignment room. I mean, this convention center is massive, right? There's so much space, and they shove it into like the smallest possible spot to put all these people in that are trying to look through all the games, and like they have games stacked under the table in boxes, on top of the table in boxes, way up high on shelves. Like they couldn't open it up a little bit more, like
That's
spread
true.
it out.
I've never thought about
You
that.
are not wrong with
I know I'm
that.
not wrong.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous.
I've never thought
And
about
you can't
that.
even
Yeah.
move because you have to wait for everyone in front of you to go, like the line, the whole. You're walking through the whole line. Like you just have to follow the line throughout, like around this 1 or 3 tables.
Yeah,
It's
and that is
just-
probably the
it's-
most packed room
It's
too.
packed, yeah, and you can't
Like
move.
there's one aisle is so thin, it is single file.
Yeah,
And if there's somebody taking their time to look at all,
you're just waiting.
like you might, yeah, just sit there.
Yeah.
It seems to me like that would be a bit of a fire hazard too, because
Right.
I was thinking that. I mean, me with my
I mean,
anxiety of being in public and everything, I'm sitting there thinking, if there's an emergency, I am
Yeah, you
screwed.
can't get out. You cannot get out.
they do have it connected and tied to the auction room because all the payments and stuff are done through the same system.
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably why they have it crammed in there. But you're right. Like upstairs, there's such big rooms.
Right.
Why couldn't they move the auction room up there and have that have a bigger room and then in turn have the consignment?
Right.
space?
Like, why do you have to shove in? Is it because people get hot and they don't want people hanging out too long and they figure
Maybe.
they'll go faster if they're like super uncomfortable?
I mean, it is the ideal location, though. It is the very first room you see when you walk in the convention center, directly across from the front door into the vendor hall. So it's
You're back.
video's back.
You're back.
We're back.
Oh, I gotta put my shirt back up.
Family friendly, Carl. Yeah, I think there was a power issue with that other camera, so we had to switch it off and switch to a different one.
Oh, Locke, you would have really hated it in there.
It's I love going in there because you can find some really good deals. It's kind of it's fun to listen to the auction. But man,
And that was my first time hearing the auction too, because that wasn't last year either. And I really wanted to get in on that auction, but he wouldn't
Yeah.
let me.
Jen's a little bit.
I would have won every single one.
Jen's a little bit competitive.
Yes, you would have, but that would not have been good. You can get some deals in the auction, but not always.
A side of Carl I've never seen. I don't know if you want to. I mean, I'll
You
leave
know.
that. I'll leave that
You
up
know.
to you to decide. Yeah. So the games that we picked up in the consignment room, we got the new version of Galaxy Trucker. Secretly trying to measure your table to see if it will fit my vehicle.
In my vehicle.
In my vehicle. Oh,
It will not. Tuna will be laying across it.
yeah. I mean, if he takes this one, I gotta get a new one.
Oh, that's true.
Like a Rascal, or that one, oh man. So at Gen Con, they had this big one that had like,
Oh, we should have taken a picture of that.
yeah, we should have. It had like pillars on the side of it with like flame candle looking lanterns on the side of it. It looks so cool.
So cool.
It would never fit
No,
down here.
never.
But
I guess we need a
wanted
new
it.
house.
And it probably costs 7 times more
Oh,
than
yeah.
your current table.
yes.
Probably like $10,000.
The table we have right now is this is from BoardGameTables.com, right?
Yeah. Because I support
BoardGameTables.com
them in
was-
everything that they do.
Well, apparently we just buy everything they make. We have quite a few of their games that they make, and we bought their Jasper table. The model that we got had felt underneath, and then we custom ordered this neoprene topper to put on it because I like neoprene better than felt. I guess it sounds like their newer models come with the neoprene.
Oh, that's good.
So,
Yeah.
not sponsored.
Squishy. It's good to roll dice on these.
It is.
Yeah, they almost bounce a little too much on this. I'm going to say that's the problem that I have with rolling dice. It's
That's the problem.
that's the problem.
Okay.
I'm not cursed. It's the table. Galaxy Trucker is a real-time puzzle kind of game where you have like a timer set and you're trying to build a spaceship and then have it survive
destroyed.
through a bunch of different disasters. It sounds like one that if I were to take it too seriously would frustrate me to no end, but I
feel like that's why we've not bought it so far.
But
because we know.
But I think it's one that if I don't take it too seriously and just have fun with it, it'll be a fun game.
Because this was a consignment room.
This was a consignment room pickup.
One of those great deals that you...
Right, we're like, we thought about it at some point, might as well pick it up now. So.
Right.
Especially because it was the newest edition and it was, well over 50% of what the retail cost was.
Yeah.
Or less.
Under.
So.
What about digital dice, though? Yeah, I have no excuse for that. I would play this in a heartbeat. Sounds like Star Wars Outer Rim. I think it's... Oh, okay.
It's a lot more chaotic. I think there's even a rule like you can only play one-handed, too, or something.
Oh.
Because you're drawing things and building, but if you use two hands...
If you have to use only one hand to flip it over or something. I haven't been through the rulebook yet. I haven't played it yet, but it's one that sounds like it could be kind of chaotic, goofy, fun.
Yeah.
We also, from the consignment room, picked up QE. This one is an auction game wherein you can bet literally any amount of money that you want. Like, you don't start off with any certain amount of money. It's just you make up some number, and that's what you bid from the sounds of it.
Sounds very interesting, but I don't understand it.
I don't either, and I think that's why I wanted to play it.
But it's a very light game. It's not a complex game.
It
is
not supposed to be very heavy. It's gotten pretty good reviews.
Yeah, people love it.
Yeah,
it's been out for a couple of years now.
Yep.
And who makes it, Tuna?
BoardGameTables.com.
Crazy.
Yeah, I think more than anything, I just want to see why it works.
Mm-hmm.
Because it sounds like something that shouldn't. Let's see. Other consignment room pickup is...
Giphy and stickers not working. Sad.
Oh.
Sad.
I'll have to check my... Oh, Giphy should be working. This episode brought to you by BoardGameTables.com. It's not. It's not. Yeah, I will have to check into that. I'm wondering if there's something wrong with the link that it's linked to. Also grabbed Mezzo from the consignment room. This is, from what I understand, kind of a Troops on a Map game set in Mesoamerica, inspired by Mayan mythology. Sounds pretty cool. It's got a lot of cool big miniatures, which you probably can't see that. Let's open it. Yeah, look at these. Some big miniatures.
Big minis.
Big minis. I like this big dragon looking dude. Pretty sweet.
And this is one we've talked about getting before, but it was a higher price point on it.
Yes. Yeah, and this one was marked down quite a bit, I seem to remember.
Yeah.
So definitely looking forward to checking that one out.
I get if it was more than 50% off the retail for that one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. That one was a good deal. And then I think that was it from the consignment room.
Mm-hmm.
And then from other folks, I picked up Star Wars Imperial Assault, which is a dungeon crawl style game, set in the Star Wars.
Yeah. It's basically
universe.
Descent, but Star Wars.
Right. Again. Oh. Look at this. Still in shrink. On the inside, anyway. We got ourselves an ATST model that I got to get put together.
Oh, you have to build the models?
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
I should paint them, too.
Yeah.
Should.
So I'm looking forward to that one. I'd had my eye on this one for a while. I'd gone back and forth between this or maybe even trying to get into Star Wars Legion, but Legion is a little too much getting into miniatures gaming, and I've been trying to avoid that. Build and paint them on stream. I could probably do that. Okay, I will calm down-ish. So, Selfish Lock picked up Star Wars Outer Rim at Gen Con, which is one that I've been really excited to try out. So, I'm glad he picked that one.
And I picked up Star Wars Rebellion at Gen Con.
That's what I said. I made that joke to him.
The three biggest Star Wars games
on
out
his
there.
stream the other day. Yeah, that I had picked up Imperial Assault, he picked up Outer Rim, and you picked up Rebellion. I said we got ourselves a whole Star Wars game day going.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should. Locke, if you are going to be free, second week of September. We're doing a big game weekend down here, so just saying. If you wanted to bring Outer Rim with you, I wouldn't be real sad. We seriously have to play them all. Yeah, we should. Let's see. On the other end of the spectrum, I picked up Sprawlopolis, which is a little micro game from Button Shy. And this is all there is to it. Carl, you have Sprawlopolis, right? Have you played it?
Yeah. It's a great puzzle game. Ideally, like a solo game. You could play it with more player. And I tried it too, and it's good. But it's a great little solo puzzle game, for sure. 18 cards. It's amazing what they can do.
Yeah. I will bring it. Yes. With Star Wars in Spanish movies on in the background. So this is something that we've talked about doing for the longest time, is watching Star Wars dubbed in Spanish. Just for some reason, that idea makes us laugh.
That's why the guy came up to him and yelled at him.
Yeah.
Maybe that is why. Okay, I might struggle with this.
Okay.
Jesse Sprawlopolis.
Jesse's problem.
Gosh, what is his last name?
Cassopolis.
Yeah,
Right.
I don't remember.
Kylaris, right? Cassopolis? Jesse Cassopolis?
Oh my goodness. That is a big box.
I'm gonna get rid of that notification because that is right in the way. There we go.
That says you're right.
Edge of Darkness. This one was on Kickstarter a while back. This is a card crafting game in the style of Mystic Vale. I almost said Mystic Maze. I'm like, that's not right. Where you have clear card sleeves, and you will slide little inserts into these card sleeves and create cards as you play. Then it also has like a cube tower thing going on, and basically this game is huge, and there's a lot of different things going on.
And I'm so jealous.
I got this for $50.
Yeah.
Off
Which
of the
is-
flea market.
This game is not available retail. It was only Kickstarter or at conventions. And even at conventions, it's $120 to $150.
Yeah.
And I tried to buy this when it popped up on the flea market, but Clay beat me by 8 minutes. I did not have my phone alerts ready. I logged on and saw, oh my gosh, oh no, he did it already.
Hey, at
Which
least
is fine.
At least I got it.
Now I get
Now
to
you
play.
got the opportunity.
I'm very excited. This is a game that's been on my radar for years since
Yeah.
it first came out. So
Yeah,
I'm very excited to get to play.
I almost backed this one when it was on Kickstarter just because it looked so interesting with between the card crafting system and the cube tower combat thing.
Yeah. John D. Clear makes really interesting games. Like
He
you said,
does.
Mystic Vale, Space Base,
Spachi Bachi.
Spachi Bachi, the new pirate game that was also a Kickstarter exclusive. I don't remember that
Dead
name.
Reckoning?
Dead Reckoning looks great. Same sort of concept, but man, good
Yeah.
stuff.
Yep. So I can't wait to get this one to the table. It is a massive game. And
You're gonna throw your back out, like trying to put it down on the ground.
okay. All right. And I think that's it for the... Yeah, I think that's it for the used games that we picked up. Alright. And we already talked about Cat in the Box a little bit.
Look how cute! So cute.
It's pretty cute. Beast of a game, yeah, that thing it's heavy too. So it's a trick taking game, but these cards, if I can get to the cards, these cards don't have a color to them. They're all just black and white. But you're playing with 4 different suits. And so as you play down a card, you're going to put a little marker on which card you're playing on this row. And so as you're playing, you're determining what cards are left in the deck. It kind of gives everybody the opportunity to count cards a little bit, for the most part. It's such an interesting
But there are
concept.
extra cards of every number in there.
Yeah.
So it's it
So
hurts your brain.
Yeah.
You
definitely
could-
hurts.
My brain.
Definitely hurts your brain.
You can have what do they call it? What's the word for it? And then a paradox.
Paradox.
You can have a paradox where I can't play a card because
It doesn't exist
because
anymore.
it doesn't exist. Because it's already that number's already been played.
Yeah.
So cool.
It's really unique in how that works. I can't wait to play that one more.
I will say that one of the best things about having a bunch of friends going to the convention, like Glenn was in line for that. He's like, I'm picking up this one. Anyone else want it? And you just text him like, yeah, get one for me too. And then someone else would be somewhere else like, hey, I'm in line for this. There's only a couple left. You guys want one? Yeah, pick one up for me. And then you all just meet up later and trade games and try to figure out money situations.
Yeah, that didn't go so great for us
You give Carl 20. Why does Carl get 20?
at 11 o'clock on Saturday night.
It's fine. Just give me 20.
So, yeah, so that worked out. So Glenn picked that one up for us, and then Carl, for us, picked up the map pack for Ark Nova. Ark Nova is one of my favorite games that's come out in the last year. I really like this game, and so this one just has some new maps for the game. Can't wait to try those out. Let's see. We got Crusaders expansion. Crusaders, they will be done. Game by Seth Jaffe. This one was, you kickstarted it a few years ago, and then Tasty Minstrel Games, the company that published it, went out of business, and I didn't think we were ever going to get the expansion for it. Renegade Game Studios was selling it at the convention, so I can't wait to bust this one open. I really like Crusaders. It's got a kind of Mancala system, which is a kind of a pretty rare mechanism to see in games. Aside from this one, I think the only other ones that I know that use a similar type of system are Trajan and Gold West. those are the only other ones that
Oh, I
I've
forgot about Cold Blast.
played that have this
Sitting
kind
on
of.
your shelf and shrink right behind you.
I
It
know,
is,
we just haven't opened
we
it.
s- I think I picked that up at.
After you played it at Grand Con, right?
Yeah. I think I picked it up at the first Gen Con that we went to.
Renegade.
Friends at Con, good stuff. Yeah. I want to try Crusaders 2. We can make that happen.
Crusaders is good. That's actually I picked up my own copy of Crusaders on the flea market at Gen Con this year.
Yeah.
So
It's really good.
because it's one we played. I played with you guys years ago. Always really liked it. Just kind of looking for the right opportunity to get my own copy for cheap. Got it.
Yep. Yeah, it's a good one.
And then of course, since I got the base game, I do immediately come home and buy the expansion.
Obviously. This Carl's a junkie.
Chunky.
We picked up this kind of cute looking game called Ducks in Tow. It's kind of a set collection game from the looks of it, where you are trying to get like matching sets of ducks in a row, but it actually has these really cute little duck meeples that you can kind of get to follow your people around this little park that you're building up. Don't know a ton about it, but
But we got the geese.
we got the
It's actually a game I have no knowledge of.
we got the Angry Goose mini expansion for it though.
I feel like I heard other people talking about this one at the convention. So,
Yeah, this was one that actually was recommended to me also like the week before. I was helping out with the Grand Con library, and one of the guys that was helping us out was punching that one out and kind of inventorying, sorting things out, and asked if I had played it yet. I said no. He said it's really good. So
the guy that gave us the little like rundown said, it looks like a little cute game, but there's a lot of thinking that goes into it.
thinkier than what you would expect.
Stinkier than what you would expect. He said he played it full well thinking he probably wouldn't love it, and he said he really enjoyed it.
What's good for the goose is good for the gander. That is what they say. And then we got a couple of small games here from Oink Games. Scout, which Carl has had for a while now, which
Love
is
it.
a really fun card game, where it's like a kind of like a hand shedding game,
Yeah.
but each card is two-sided. There's a card on the top or a number on the top and a number on the bottom. You choose which side you're going to have face up at the beginning of the game, and then you cannot rearrange your cards throughout the game, and you're trying to play down like sets of cards.
It's really clever. It's a remake, or not a remake, a reprint of an older game. It's been around for years, but it's just now, in the last 6 months, really gotten a lot of buzz.
Yeah.
Spiel des Jahres nominated,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, just a great card game for sure.
And then from the same company, we got Startups, which is one that I really don't know much about. I just know that it's another Oink game that gets some pretty high praise. so-
Highly respected, and good Oink games are good.
Yes.
So,
Right.
and
So,
that's one that's always at the top of the list. For
I'm
Oinks.
I'm looking forward to trying that
Yeah,
one
I
out
am
and
too.
seeing what that one's about.
That's one of those where if you guys hadn't have bought it, I probably would have bought it at the convention too.
Yeah. And then we got kind of a package deal here. This is Catapult Feud. So we got Catapult Feud and the Catapult Feud Siege expansion. So Catapult Feud, you and your opponent each build a castle on opposite sides of the table, and then you literally have a little catapult with a little miniature boulder that you put into it, and you fling it across the table and try to knock down your opponent's castle. This was something we picked up to play with the kids because we thought they'd get a kick out of it. And then I think that the Siege expansion makes it cooperative, I believe. And it adds ballistas. Either way, it sounds fun.
We always struggle with what we always want to pick the girls up something when we go, just like a little, because they're staying away from home and everything, and we really struggle because they have the same type of like little stuffed animals or whatever, and we don't want to get any more stuffed animals. So this game looked like a fun one. There were a lot of families playing it that we saw. So
yeah, it was. We did get a chance to watch some people playing this one at the table as we were walking by, and almost immediately decided to pick it up because it looks like a lot of fun. Then we also got the play mats to go along with it, and then I'm not even 100% sure what this is. Dice ammo expansion. Apparently you're flinging dice now, and those are gonna
get dangerous.
and those are gonna have like some kind of special effect from the looks of it. I'm not sure, but it came with the games when we picked them up.
Selfish! You didn't get a chance to check out the Oink booth. They have
the last day.
They have a lot of games. Some are great. Some I hear aren't so great.
Yeah,
but yeah, the ones I've played, I've really enjoyed.
Yes. Let's see. So you've got Nine Tiles Panic.
Yeah, I've got Nine Tiles Panic.
That one's really good.
A Fake Artist Goes to New York, and Scout are the three that I know.
Gotcha. Must have missed the Oink games. Forget Throw Burrito and their squishy throwables. Now we're throwing dice as bullets.
That's right. It gets real at our house.
So speaking of Throw Burrito, I saw they had like a giant sized Throw Burrito there, where the burritos were like
like outdoor
2 foot tall or something like that, 2.5 foot tall, and they were throwing those at each other. So that I bet Ben would have got a kick out of that. Then we picked up a couple of games from Genius Games.
Because, well,
we're running out of room. We picked up Genotype, a Mendelian genetics game. This is all about trying to genetically modify peas. Peas? Don't know too much about it, but it's been getting a lot of
positive reviews on
buzz. So, I like the idea of it. Theme seems cool, and then to go along with that, we also got Cellulose, which is a game about plant cells and the science behind those. Genius Games, I know, does a lot of kind of research and does a good job of kind of making sure that their themes tend to follow the science.
Yeah.
So
you learn things from playing their games.
Yeah.
But they're still fun.
Mm.
And then, of course, we got all of the little upgrades for those as well. We got the Toolbox mini expansion and the upgraded bits for Genotype. We got the Scenario Pack and the upgraded bits for Cellulose.
That booth may have seen us coming.
They may have. It's fine. It's fine. Peas? I get to be the cytoplasm. And then, probably one of my favorite pickups from this year, Marvel Dice Throne. I really... So we played this one last night.
2 nights ago.
2 nights ago. You're right. Thursday night. This game is really good. It's a dice battling game.
Battle Yahtzee.
Yeah, Battle Yahtzee. You're rolling dice Yahtzee style, and then depending on what you end up with, you're going to trigger certain abilities based on the character that you have. Especially with the Marvel version, all of the powers seem very thematic to the characters that you're playing. So I played Thursday night. I played Scarlet Witch. Carl played Miles Morales, Spider-Man, and Jen played Thor. and Jen whooped us.
I wouldn't say whoop.
I would say
She
I would
whooped
say
us.
that.
She won.
But this is the Kickstarter edition, so it's
This is the
nice.
coolest box I've ever
It's got
seen.
each of the upside down. Each of the characters has their own little miniature box that you can take out. It's got all of their cards and dice and everything in there with
It's
it.
so organized.
It literally takes 30 seconds to set up a game, and you're ready to go.
And it doesn't take very much to play either.
No.
Artwork's great. This is Roxley.
Roxley Games, yeah.
Roxley, who make my favorite game of all time, Brass Birmingham. Their production is really good.
Yeah, this is the third version of
I'm really liking this game.
the third version of Dice Throne. The first two were all unique character types. Like you might have a samurai and a monk, or just all different characters. This is the first licensed one. The interesting thing about this is Marvel let their artist do the artwork and draw the Marvel characters instead of having their own Marvel artists do it. That's how much they respected what they've already done with the previous versions of it. So that's pretty amazing. And yeah, for those of you that were here earlier, I mentioned how Marvel Champions was probably my favorite until a few weeks ago, and that is when I first played this. And yeah, Marvel Dice Throne is, I'd say pretty clearly probably my favorite. Not probably. It is my favorite Marvel-themed game now. It's just so quick and fun and easy to teach and easy to play.
Yeah. So I've played it twice now. Well, not Marvel Champions. I've played Dice Throne twice now. Once we played it as a 4-player 2-on-2 battle, and that was okay. But on Thursday night we played it as a 3-player kind of free-for-all, where you got to choose who you were attacking, and that was definitely I preferred that over the 4-player.
Yeah.
And from what I understand, it's really good as a 2-player kind of head-to-head battle.
Yeah, I've played it a handful of times 2-player, and it's great. Yeah, but 3-player was just as good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't seem like it was. Didn't feel like it was moving too slow or anything.
No, because
With
you lower the health for
Yeah.
each character in a 3-player game.
And
So-
some of the players can go at any point. Like I
Yeah.
could, for my Thor thing, I could be doing whatever. I could throw my.
Oh, I
my
gotta show
Jonathan
that.
at
You
guys.
could throw a Majolin or
Majoliner. She could throw Jonathan. I gotta show that off because that's one of the coolest bits I've seen in a game in a long time. She actually had a metal hammer.
it's got a good amount of weight to it.
Yeah.
It does. It was fun to throw.
It's pretty hefty.
It would hurt you if someone threw it at you.
That's pretty sweet. Billy Joelner. That one does not get the fail sound, Locke. I appreciated that one. Yeah, their own artists, yeah. Got all the projectile games,
Yeah,
yeah.
maybe you could add that to the catapult.
Yeah,
game.
we could do that. We could fling it.
Just throw the... We'll throw in the giant metal sword first player
Nice.
token from Crusaders, too.
I think it's upside down.
Is it? No.
No.
Other way.
Oh, this way? Oh, I see.
So the corner.
Gotcha. Yeah, I've been having a lot of fun playing this one. And then the last thing we've got, which we technically didn't buy at Gen Con, but it was waiting for us when we got back.
Well, we technically did buy it at Gen Con.
Yeah, last year.
Last year.
Oh, you know, I re-upped the collection tour challenge thing. I'm planning on just doing it anyway. But I wanted to wait till after we got back from Gen Con because I knew we were going to have a lot of new stuff on the shelves.
We also have an order that has to be shipped from Game Nerds that will have additional games that are coming over.
So there are more things on the way. There might have been talk of another shelf.
There was talk of another shelf.
I could use one of those too.
We said we weren't going to. Anyway, the spill has a really cool theme where there's like an oil spill on an oil rig out in the ocean, and you are environmentalist sent out to try and clean it up. It all uses kind of a cool dice tower thing in the middle of the board, and depending on what number it rolls and which quadrant it rolls out into, that's where the spill tends to spread. It looks pretty cool.
We saw this at Gen Con last year and ordered it when we got back because it was on
Kickstarter at the time.
So we ordered it when we got back from Gen Con, and then the other perk too is like our mat is water, so that'd be kind of cool to put it in the middle of like the ocean on our playmat.
Yeah. Maybe that'll have to be an upcoming stream. Huh? Stream?
Huh?
Water?
Huh? Look at you go.
Another shelf. The creep is growing. Yeah, I know. Well, so Edge of Darkness and Marvel Dice Throne, I can't fit on these shelves back here.
If you turn Dice Throne on its side, it'll fit.
Oh,
those.
Yeah.
Oh.
But what would I?
But it also takes up 3/4 of it.
No.
That's yours.
So I think this one and Marvel Dice Throne and Edge of Darkness are going to have to live on the other shelves with my other very large games like Gloomhaven and Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea, Scythe. The spill over and a new shelf to clean it up. Yeah. You know, we said when we set this all up that was not going to happen. But then Jen started coming to conventions with me.
I will say that I really pared down my spending for Gen Con.
It felt like we did a bit.
Yeah.
A
lot.
It felt like, but I think it felt like we did because we didn't spend a lot right when we first walked into the vendor hall.
I'm counting that day. That's the day I'm thinking
we just postponed the purchases until later in the convention
till the
time
end
around. Jen strikes down Carl for taking her drink with Billy Jr.
You should keep that with you at all times.
Oh, the thing?
Yeah,
Think
to
about my drink.
smack my knuckles with.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna get her like one of the full-size ones. Instead of a mortgage, I only had to get a home equity loan. From my perspective, it seemed slow when I was around. Yeah, that first day that we went in, we really didn't go too overboard.
I bought like 2 rings. That was like the only thing I bought the first day.
Yeah, like non-game stuff.
Yeah.
You picked up a couple of rings, and then I grabbed a flask that had kind of this cool Joker artwork on it. I think that's the only non-gaming stuff that we picked up.
Yeah, I
when we
think
were
so
there,
too.
though.
I did look at a hat, but then I heard the price and immediately ran away.
Can we get a Billy Jolner Jen sticker or emote? I will see if I can work on that. That could probably happen. I think my new emote got approved for the animated Cursed Dice. I believe. I haven't tried it yet though. Carl, what did you pick up?
Oh, I did not buy too much at the convention. I did some shopping on the flea market ahead of time. Look at what my notes were on that. At the convention, I did buy the Marvel Dice Throne.
Yeah, there it is.
Because I had played regular Dice Throne and realized how much I liked it, and actually my wife liked it. So that was kind of the killer. And when I mentioned to her, I was like, "Hey, remember that game you liked? They have the Marvel version here." And she's like, "Yeah, that was good. You should probably get that." All right, that's all I had. So I bought that new. I think the only other game I bought actually new from the convention was Long Shot the Dice game, which we talked about earlier. After we played it that first night, I realized, yeah, that game's great. I want it. Otherwise, yeah, I bought a handful of used games. Star Wars Rebellion, which is a game that's been on my try to get list for about 3 years. Got screwed out of it in 2018 at Gen Con by somebody that was supposed to sell it to me, and yeah, so now I finally have it. I feel good about that. I did in the flea market. I picked up all of season 2 of Dice Throne, so I came home with 16 Dice Throne characters. The nice thing about it, you can mix and match them, so you can play any of the Marvel characters against. It's true. I also mentioned I picked up Crusaders. That will be done. Again, looking for a copy of my own for a few years. I grabbed Bonanza, the Uwe Rosenberg card game from like 15 years ago. They this year came out with the 15th anniversary edition. Somebody was selling it. Picked that up. Kind of a light card game.
If you've ever been interested in trading beans,
Yeah,
That's games for
that's
you.
the way to do it.
that's,
Yep.
that's
And
the game for you.
I believe the only other game I bought was Fairy Tale Inn, which is a Paulo Mori game of Ethnos fame. It is a 2-player game, which is a variant on Connect 4, basically. It's got a big plastic wall, and you slot your things in.
Trading beans.
But it's more of a, you have different fairy tale creatures that have special powers, and depending on where you slot them and how they arrange with other tokens of their same, they can do different combo attacks. Looks pretty interesting. So I picked that one
So
up.
that's one that I don't know too much about. I haven't heard much about that one, so I'm curious to check
It
that
got
out.
a little buzz when it first came out, and then I never heard about it again. And
Speaking of Paulo Mori, I heard what may be a rumor, but it sounds like they might be bringing back Dogs of War,
oh,
which is one that I've been trying to
Yeah.
track down for a long time
for
now.
sure.
So that's interesting. I don't know if that's fact or not. Don't quote me on that, but that's one that I've heard a lot of good things about it. I've heard it's really good, but it's been out of print forever now.
Yeah.
So I'd be
That would
curious
be
to see
very
if that
cool.
one comes back.
Yeah, for me, this Gen Con was more about selling games.
Quoted.
I was able to sell a lot of games on the flea market this time, which was nice. 'Cause, as you know, when you kind of get a little crazy on games, you sometimes go, I really didn't like this one. Why did I buy this? And then you want to sell it later. So, luckily, though, I was able to sell way more than what I came back with as far as game-wise. So, I feel that was a successful con. Space-wise, I still have way too much. So, if you're going to Grand Con, check out the Board Game Geek Grand Con Flea Market, where I have about 20 games for sale. If you're at all interested, there's some good deals on there. Especially if you're interested, if you've been sold on Dice Throne. Dice Throne Season 1 First Edition is available for a very reasonable price if you're at all interested. Just saying. Just saying.
Carl's soliciting.
He is. I wanted to talk about the math trade a little bit because I've been to 2 math trades now. One at Origins this year, and then one at Gen Con this year. I would have thought that the Gen Con one would have been like insane and like crazy, but it was the Origins one that was like insane and crazy. Like Gen Con was very organized. Everyone made a huge circle and like went around and like calmly looked for people. At Origins, it was like looking for this person, here you, here's my sign, there's my sign, getting these things, go over here, I got a person over here. It was like a crazy atmosphere.
Yeah, that's true.
It was, yeah. It was,
Now, I will say the Gen Con math trade is not typically like that.
It's more like Origins.
It's
usually.
more like the Origins one.
Because I love the Origins one. It was very exciting.
And we were in and out of the Madrid this year real quick.
Yeah.
Where usually it's like the second half is where people are getting a little crazy because they're like they can't find people. But yeah, we were out in like 15 minutes.
Yeah,
it was super easy.
We had everything taken care of real quick. Yeah. Lurking, Little's off to bed. Night, Little. Yeah. Anything else we wanted to hit on before we call it a night?
We said we would give hotel thoughts. But we kind of talked about that earlier, I guess, but not overall, really.
Yeah. So, like I said at the beginning of the stream, this year we stayed at the Hyatt Regency. The hotel itself was really nice. I would say that of the hotels, like the downtown hotels that we've stayed at, I think this was my least favorite of the rooms that we've stayed in. Mainly, I mean, it's hard to beat last year at the JW, because last year we stayed at the JW, we had a very higher floor room with a great view that looked out over the whole convention center and everything. That was really nice, and the hotel itself was really nice. The Hyatt, the hotel was really nice. They had a lot of like space there for gaming, a lot of like conference rooms and stuff, kind of off of the halls that you could use to game in. The room itself just, I don't know, I guess to me it felt a little bit dated and kind of musty compared to...
It was musty. I really liked the size of it, though. The room, I thought was
size was
big.
Yeah, it was...
The beds were a little close together, I thought, but the room was big. A lot of tables, a couple tables to choose from. I liked that the Hot Games room was in the Hyatt, too, so we just had to go down the elevator, and you're right there at your 4-hour block.
Yeah. Yeah, that was nice. The Hot Games room was on the second floor of the Hyatt, so we didn't have to leave our hotel for that. We could just take the elevator down to the second floor, and we were right there. So yeah, that was nice. Were you guys going to go into more detail about the differences between Jen's experience last year and this year? Did you want to go into more detail about kind of what the differences were?
So last year being my first year was the lower attendance year. So for me, that's like the normal, right? That's the bar of what I expect Gen Con to be, and I loved it last year. So this year when we got there, and there were all these people, and I was not expecting that. I knew it was going to be more crowded. I don't think I really understood it until we got there. But like I said, it was super crowded, but I don't think that would ever deter me from going again. It just like, you just adapt to more people being there.
Yeah.
And you're only in the hall for so long, really. You're in and out a lot to like get breaks, so it's not that bad being in the hall when it's that crowded. It's more of an inconvenience when you're trying to go out to eat or something like that. You have to walk out a little further to get, places where you don't have to wait for an hour for a table. But I don't know. I really liked this con too, and I think it was fun too because Christy was there too. It felt like there were more people there. We got together more with people. It felt like,
yes,
which made it fun. Got to see the locks too.
Yep.
I was joking about how we played more games with other people in Grand Rapids in Indy than we do
than
like,
we actually
at
do
home.
when we're at we traveled all the way down to Indianapolis to play games with other people from Grand Rapids.
Yeah.
Did Christy mention anything about what she thought about the whole experience with this being her first time going?
Yeah, no, she thought it was cool. She enjoyed the hanging out afterwards. She's not a huge gamer. She plays games occasionally. She doesn't hate board games, but she's not a convention person. Like if I go home and start talking about board games, she just falls asleep. Like,
she'll kind of glaze over.
She just doesn't care. But being around so many more people like me, I think maybe made her realize I'm not insane. Normal.
So yeah, now she thinks you're normal.
But no, she had a lot of fun down there, and I'd be surprised if she doesn't want to go again. I still don't think she's going to be one that's going to be like, I'm going to take 3 days off of work and go to the convention. It's going to be more. No, I want to go because the experience is fun.
Yeah.
I'll work while you guys are doing your gaming stuff, and then we'll
go.
We'll go have fun.
That I'm glad to hear that because it was fun having her down there too.
Yeah.
Like
And that's the only way we get pictures. She's
well,
the only
that's
one out of
true
us that
too.
takes
Yeah,
pictures.
I'm not the best at remembering to take pictures.
Yeah.
Not insane.
She
Yeah.
probably has way more pictures. So,
Fun food and adventures. Yeah. Yeah. Locke, do you guys think you'll make the trip back? If not next year, maybe like every other year or something. I know Becky had said that she didn't know if she'd be in for every year. That's fair. The whole experience is probably really cool, no matter how much you're into board games. That's exactly what we kept telling her too.
Yeah.
Like
So much people
even
watching
if-
too. Like
even if you're not into board games, like if you are into, I mean, if you're into people watching, yes, but if you're into like geeky culture at all, there is something there for you.
yeah.
Right? They have movie showings and video games and
Like classes you can take to learn about things.
crafting and
Like,
stuff.
Our friend's wife went to a few like seminars of like puppets, like
puppeteering.
puppeteering, like
yeah. Yep.
Lots
Oh,
of art. Yeah, we didn't even touch on art.
Locke.
yeah.
Locke and Lady Locke, they went to like some a cappella thing. There's tons of authors there. The artists there are insane.
I always want to buy everything.
There's so many art pieces there that I wanted to get this year. Yoga, yeah. I mean, they do the Orc Stomp 5K every year.
I mean,
there's
like,
always
it's like thousands of events. Thousands.
Yeah.
Right. That's thousands.
Yeah.
It's insane.
I'd find that one game dev that wants to just chat about design, and you'd never see me again. Yeah. Well, and you can. I mean, there are seminars for that too. Like, if you're interested in getting into game design, you can sit and listen to people who do that.
Mm-hmm.
And one of my favorite things about conventions like this is the fact that if you have a favorite designer, the odds of you being able to play a game with your favorite designer are pretty good. Compared to like a lot of other hobbies that you can get into, I could play a game with my favorite designer. That's within the realm of possibility. Whereas like being able to jam on guitar with my favorite musician, probably not.
Yeah,
You know what I
so
mean?
A lot of the designers are there.
Yeah.
Like we mentioned, Glenn Drover was there when I was demoing Mosaic. Frank West, the designer of Isle of Cats, was there at a booth. His game sold out by Friday morning, and he just hung out and talked to people, and it was great. I stopped by and chatted with him for a little bit, and yeah, you just in the hobby, it's so small still, relatively.
Yeah.
Like people are just willing to chat. And it's great.
It is cool to like run into like if you watch like any of your normal gaming YouTube channels or whatever, and you can like run into these people, and it's so weird. You can go to one of their live shows and like sit in and listen to it happen, and
Yeah.
it's so cool.
Yeah, Dan and Becky got to play a game with Emma Larkins. Abandon All Artichokes.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
What's the... Oh, I want to say Starfall, but that's not right. Starry Night
Starlink?
Sky.
No, that's Elon Musk.
It wasn't Elon Musk. I was hoping... Oh, Quan Chai, yeah. Yeah, so I know they were showcasing some of... Starry Night Sky, yeah, okay, that's what I thought it was. They were showcasing some of his artwork in the BIPOC Lounge, right? I seem to
I'm not
recall
sure.
there being something like that. But Locke, you keep going, odds are you're gonna meet him there someday.
Mm-hmm.
The odds are pretty good. All right, so I think that is it for our stream tonight. was great hanging out with everybody. It's good to be back on stream. I'm hoping we can, like I said, we can make this a more regular thing again. I may fanboy on him. That's okay. I think one of the first years that I went, I got my copy of Century Golem Edition signed by Emerson Matsuuchi. We got taught hardback by Tim Fowers. Yeah. That was, these guys make these games that I really like to play, and they're teaching me how to play their games. So cool. Fun stream. Good to see you guys. Yeah, it's good to be back on stream. I'm like I said, I'm hoping we can start to make this a more regular thing again. Jen and I may be doing a video for YouTube soon, where we do some tips on going to conventions, Gen Con in particular, but maybe even some kind of general convention tips. Just because that was something that we were asked a bit this year, so we thought maybe that might be useful. Other than that, we're gonna keep with kind of the random streaming for right now, kind of sporadic. We don't want to set a schedule just yet without knowing for sure what it's gonna be. But just we will say that we're going to try and make it a more regular thing again here soon. Yay, more tabletop streams. I'd be down for some virtual play at some point again. Yeah, for sure. Also, I am talking to Becky about invading your in-person game night. Yeah, please do. Yeah. You should. Yeah, the more the merrier. All right, guys. Well, I hope everybody has a great rest of the weekend, and we will see everybody soon.
Bye.
Good night.